Great to have you along. Let's begin. We'll connect right in with our flowing breath. Just to feel the movingness of our breath. Be as simple as that the breath is a moving behavior, a moving sensation. And we'll start with some rounds of Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati, short, sharp exhalations. Whatever cross-legged or seated position you have is fine. We'll make a switch halfway through. So, tip of the nose, low down, deep, near the navel, near the pubic bone belly muscle. Let's begin. We're working rounds of Kapalabhati. I find that how my weight is distributed on my pelvis can make a really big difference as to how I'm experiencing the abdominals working. Great. Let's pause right there. Pausing the Kapalabhati. And just resuming nostril breathing, Ujjayi breathing. And feeling the flowingness, the movingness of our breath. Just the quality of movement that our breath helps us remember. And now let's switch the cross of our legs. And we'll do another set of Kapalabhati. Short, sharp exhalations. So now we move out of Ujjayi and into Kapalabhati. Here goes. And that'll be plenty to get us started. So now again, resume your nostril breathing, your Ujjayi breathing. Align the back of the skull over the back of the sacrum. The technique of Ujjayi, creating that little sound, that whispering sound, very specifically, the throat is an open pathway, and we're creating just a little muscular involvement. If our head is forward and our throat pathway kind of more collapsed or carrying more of the weight of the head, it's a different quality of Ujjayi. The sound is different, the feeling of the throat is different. So when I bring my head over my pelvis and I'm doing Ujjayi, the Ujjayi can have a lighter touch, and it also feels like I'm breathing and feeding my brain. So great for choice making. Good. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Because we'll be seated here for a few moments, if you need a little back support, like sitting against a wall, you could do that. Inhale, reaching the arms out to the side. And as you reach, lift up through the chest. So the upper back lifts away from the sacrum. Eagle. Exhale the left elbow over the right. In Baddha Konasana. Soles of feet together. Even a little pressure can be sweet. Finding that deep breath that exists as support. Rely on those low belly area muscles, musculature to help you with the exhale. You can stay up in this posture. Gently reaching the elbows forward. Good. Inhale, unwind the arms, reach them out to the side. And exhaling, we'll wind up the other way. Exhaling the right over the left. Right over left. So, just to give us a quick little recap, we got the back of the head lined up over the back of the sacrum, so that the Ujjayi technique, the touch is light. Can you feel the throat open, the brain getting to circulate that breath, or the breath circulating in and around the head space? Can you feel the deep breaths expanding the ribs? As you're exhaling, can you employ those belly muscles all around those hip flexors, and they might be getting a little warm, or lifting, feeling the trunk growing up away from the hip bones and the sit bones. Inhaling, unwind. We'll help the legs together. Lie on back. Have a roll or a block nearby, because we'll get around to doing some abs with an object. But for now, twisted root abs. We'll cross our right knee over our left. And knees willing, we'll hook the right foot behind the left calf. Remember, we can omit steps that create pain. Hopefully the whole point of these healing arts, these yogic arts, is that we're reducing pain and finding out what suffering is within our means to no longer engage in, right? So the first part is inhaling, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. Use some abdominal oomph to keep that low back on the ground. And then exhaling, curling the tailbone, pressing thigh into thigh, kind of reaching the thigh bones up, the kneecaps up, keeping the feet knee height or lower, and I'll draw the low belly down. So I'm crossing my legs over, one over the other, one under the other. Right, inhaling into the hip creases. So your breath reaches the hip crease. Exhaling, curl tailbone, press thigh into thigh, which is like crossing right over left, crossing left under right. Draw the low belly belly down. And again, inhale into the hip crease. Exhaling, tailbone shifts, reaching the thigh bones toward the sky, pressing thigh against thigh. So you're getting some rotation in the hip. Pull low belly down. I'll leave the legs as they are. Inhale the head down to the ground. Stack your hands on your right thigh. And now exhale, curling the tailbone. Draw strongly thighs toward chest. And hands press. Let that create a little hip flexor work, which is abdominal work. Pull low belly down. And again, inhale, leaving the head down, breathing into the back, breathing the back down. Exhale, curling tailbone, draw thigh toward chest, press hands into thighs, pull thighs toward chest. Pull low belly down. And release. A lot of times when we get those hip flexors working, there can be almost like a little instantaneous temperature change inside us. Let that occur. The heat is all right. Let's do the other side, left over right. Hands behind head to start. This is a two-part move. Inhale, head and shoulders up. Exhaling, curling tailbone, cross left over right, cross right under left, reaching the thigh bones up, pull low belly down. Inhaling, keep the head up. And exhaling, curling tailbone, press thigh into thigh. Draw the low belly down. Let's go again, inhale. I keep my feet at knee height or a little bit lower. Exhale. Source that exhalation from the abdomen, the low abdomen, feeling between the hip bones, beneath the navel. Draw that low belly down. Inhale, set the head down, stack hands on left thigh. Exhale, curl tailbone, press thighs or draw thighs, pull thighs in at the chest, and the hands, just hold them in place. There's a little isometric work. Keep pulling, pull like you're lifting a really heavy shoe up your foot. Pull low belly down. We'll do another. Inhale, let the head remain down. And exhale, curling tailbone. Pull the knee toward your face. Lift. Lift that leg toward your chest. This is what we need to get really strong at when we're stepping our foot forward for lunge. So lifting that knee, knee high. Pull low belly down. And release. Inhale, unwind. Okay. And now, place both hands on your thighs. Now the hands and the legs in this position, there won't be a lot of resistance. And that's fine, but pull your thighs into your palms and let them move as deeply, as close to your chest as you can. So it's like a lying, working embryo. So I'm just actively drawing my thighs toward my chest. It's not pulling, I'm not pulling my shins, I'm pulling my legs. My hands offer little resistance. And release. All right, let's grab our object. We'll place it between the legs. Reach the legs up. These hip creases might be starting to warm up here. Inhale into low belly, into the hip crease. Squeeze the object. Even though I'm not moving my thighs, I can pull my thighs toward my chest. I'm not moving them, but I can pull them. Exhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. Increase the squeeze. Curling tailbone just a bit more. Pull low belly down. Inhale, set the head down. Full breath. Feel the texture, the tone of the breath. Squeeze the object. And without moving the legs, pull the legs toward your chest. I know that sounds a little funny. Exhale, float the head and the shoulder blades up. The legs are still vertical. Pull them toward the chest. They go nowhere. Reach the legs up. Draw the low belly down. Inhale, the head down. Reaching that breath into the hip creases. Squeeze the object. Exhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. Pulling, it's kind of a metaphor word here, pulling the thighs toward the chest. But they're not breaking vertical. Draw the low belly down. Yeah, you're doing it. You're doing it. All right, do the next 3 on your own. It's okay if the front or the inner hip get very, very warm. That's okay. It's okay if we get the hip flexors a little stronger. I find that strong yet tight seems to open up much differently than strong and weak. Or I'm sorry, tight and weak. Those are very different processes. Yeah. Yes, I'm pulling, drawing the thigh toward my chest. It's not moving toward my chest. So it's something that's initiated deep in the hip crease. And you may even feel that it subtly lengthens your back, so the sacrum remains on the ground. It's a very subtle move that gets into the deep low back. You might even get a little adjustment in your spine bones. Yes, that's it. Good, strongly straightening. Those are, yeah, we're always playing with these tolerances, these windows of our capacity, these windows of our tolerance. Maybe that kind of begs the question, what do I do when I reach a threshold of capacity, a threshold of tolerance? Right? Because isn't that usually when I get a little frustrated or irritable or I've started to appreciate the sensations around frustration. In the sense that when I feel that kind of hot, irritable frustration, I now realize or correlate that with, that's my brain and my nervous system and my person trying to make a connection that's not quite there yet. It's not quite matured. It's not fully carved in there. So I now recognize it as a really good indicator of learning. All right, let's set the feet down and we'll set up for bridge. Set feet hip width apart. And you may want to have a block nearby. Not essential, but could be nice if you have back or knee injuries. And I'm gliding the shoulders, I'm pulling, snuggling the shoulders away from the neck. Once the heels are fingertip distance away, prepare to move on exhale, feet feeling the earth, wriggling those bones widely, spaciously, and exhaling the tailbone, the pelvis skyward. And hearing again the breath, the movingness. So to hear that something, a movement of our being has this quality of being fixed or fluid. Right? Now, at any time, if you need is an interesting word, and if you need a block under your sacrum, apply it. Have the left foot set to receive your full weight, which may mean move left foot an inch to your right. Inhale the right knee toward your chest. So here you can pull that thigh toward your chest. Strong move, pull, that's those hip flexors. Exhale, raise the right leg, lift the right leg. Now I'm actively pulling my right thigh toward my chest. As you're actively pulling, engaging the front of your right hip, reach as if to lengthen and soften and open your left hip. Can you feel those, let's say, little juxtaposition there? Feeling that you're actively condensing the right thigh toward the chest and actively expanding open in the front of left hip. Yes, some of you are really tuning into the front of the pelvis. That's super cool. That's really neat. Getting two distinct sense movements. All right. Good, let's trade sides. Inhale the right foot down to the ground. Firmly plant the feet as you exhale. You may need to adjust the right foot in a smidge. And then here goes the other side. Inhale the left knee toward your chest. Actively pull it in. Don't just lift it up. Pull it toward your chest. Pull it toward your chest. Exhale, straightening the leg toward the sky. Still pulling the left thigh toward your chest. That's it. Some of you are really into some new places with that left leg. It's super cool. Good, and as you're actively condensing in that front of left hip, can you feel what's expanding and opening up in the back of your left hip or back? Can you feel the front of the right hip opening, expanding? All right, inhale, set left foot down. If you have any props underneath you that have been of assist, just sweep those away. As we exhale our way down out of bridge. Let's prepare for dolphin. So we can give this neck a little different posture than that bridge configuration. So with elbows under shoulders, knees under hips, pressing both toe pads and palms into the earth. Feel the pressure, the downward pressure, the contact. And when the neck is soft, exhale the knees off the ground. Listen to the sweep of your breath. And by sweep, there's a kind of a breadth, a wideness, a lengthiness to each inhalation, exhalation. To me, and this is my interpretation, my experience, you'll have to discover what's true for you, is that is a big indicator of my window of capacity or tolerance, if you will, in that moment. So if I'm panting, that sweep of breath is barely like a millisecond. It's like, and as I hear and feel that sweep of breath enlarging and lengthening, not a force move, just an assertion of our self-beingness in our body. It develops a kind of a presence, right? There's this ability to be with. This is tolerance. Our ability to be with, tolerance, shows up in the body as presence. Now, let's take that right foot, use the toes, give that left heel just a little anchoring nudge. I just toe press down on that left heel. And now inhale the right leg skyward. Exhaling, spreading the left foot bones. Lift, reach that leg away. Can you feel the front of the right hip expanding open? Even as the left one may feel like it's condensing. Yeah, keep listening to that sweep of breath. As we remain present, you might be pleasantly, interestedly surprised to find the body starts to open. Now let's set that right foot down, remain in dolphin. We got a cool thing going. Use the left toes to give that right heel a little anchor nudge. Inhale, float that left leg skyward. And exhale as you reach it out. Feel, can you, the front of the left hip opening, expanding. Yeah. Yeah, it's really neat. Some of you are getting into you're perceiving the pelvis and the hip a little differently. It's very cool. Now that right hip, that hip crease might be condensing. And that left one certainly can. You can feel that expanding. Yes, yes, yes. I see some weight shifts. Inhaling, set the left foot down. And walk the feet just 1 or 2 inches closer to the elbows. I wouldn't go more than that. Just 1 inch, maybe 2. Now press through those forearms. Draw the sit bones away from the shoulder joints. Feel that breath getting into that middle of heart, middle of rib cage. Get the sense there's a little equator of, it's like a rigid uncertainty around the middle of the heart area, which is like the bottom middle of shoulder blades. And then gently set the knees down. Ooh, that was a dolphin. Come on up to standing. You might like a wall support. Standing pigeon. Now grab the right foot. And I've got the instep of the right foot in front of my either pelvis or torso. Now, if you have some back issues, like in the sacrum area, I do recommend feeling both halves of your back or your butt against a plane surface. That way you can minimize the swivel and the turn. You can tax the legs and teach them how to support your back. Inhaling, we'll set that right foot down. Let's switch sides, picking up that left foot. Exhaling, press through that sole of right foot. Expanding the front of your right thigh and leg. You feel the abdomen expanding away from that right. There's a tendency I've been watching it the last few days there's this tendency to just allow the abdomen to kind of gravity down into the pelvis. Find out if there's a sense of space, like the guts and the abdomen and the lower torso has that support sufficient to grow away from the legs. And then feel and hear your breath in that new shape. Again, you can hear the sweep of the breath. Those of you who are a little more, who are attuned in different ways, maybe visual ways or sensory, like you might kind of get a sense of shape. You might hear a quality of sweep. All of those are just indicators giving us moment-to-moment feedback on the movingness of our body, right? We'll set that left foot down. Let's head to the front of our mat. Moving through suns. Inhale, draw the arms up, expanding through the fronts of the hips. You may have to condense a little bit in the back of the hips. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step left foot back, lunge. Hands to ground. Exhale, step right foot back, expanding the front of the hips as you lower. It's a little different if you put your knees down, but you can still find something. Now expand the fronts of your hips. There might be a gap there, that's fine, but you can still feel moving in the direction of expansion. As you inhale with the hands, draw the abdomen away from the hip crease, the heart away from the abdomen. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. Inhale, left foot forward, lunge. Here's that pulling that left thigh to your chest. I hope you got that. We'll have a few more chances to feel that without any momentum. Expanding through the front of the hip. Hands to ground. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Folding. Inhale, stand as you reach up. Again, can you feel the fronts of the hips expanding? Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale, reach. The fronts of the hips expand. The abdomen lifts, maybe even stretches away from the thighs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot back, lunge. And the right thigh, hip, abdomen expanding. There's this plane of tissue through the front of our leg and our torso. Exhale, step back, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Now here's that pulling motion. Inhale, pull, draw that right thigh vibrantly, strongly toward the chest as you step it forward for lunge. Hands to ground. Exhale, step left foot forward, fold. Inhale, stand, drawing arms up, expanding through the fronts of the hips, lifting the abdomen away from the hips, exhaling, hands to heart. So in the Eastern traditions, this is sometimes called a stomach meridian. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left foot back, lunge, front of left leg, abdomen all the way up to the sternum. Hands to ground. Exhale, step right foot back, lower, expanding the fronts of the hips, and still in cobra. Inhale, here's that line. The front of the legs, through the front of the hips, the front of the abdomen, chest. Exhale, lower, downward dog. Inhale, left foot forward. lunge. Hands to ground. Exhale, right foot forward. Fold. Inhale, stand, drawing the arms up. Exhaling, hands to heart. We'll do 2 more rounds and they'll be a little swifter still. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot back, lunge. Hands to ground, exhale, step back, lower. Inhale, cobra. The whole front of body, getting a little stretch. Exhale, lower, downward dog. And it kind of creases up a bit. Inhale, the left foot forward, the right foot forward, lunge. Hands to ground, exhale, step forward, fold. Inhale, stand, reaching up. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left foot back, lunge. Expanded through that front left leg, front left side abdomen, chaturangas. We'll lower all the way. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left foot forward, draw, pull that left thigh toward your chest. Exhale, fold, step right foot forward, fold. Inhale, stand, reach up. Exhaling, hands to heart. And last one. Inhale, reaching, lengthening through the fronts of the hips. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot back, lengthening through the front of the right hip and abdomen, all the way up into the chest. Hands to ground. Exhale, chaturanga. Step back, lengthen through the fronts of the hips as you descend. Cobra, inhale. Heart lifts away from abdomen. You feel the front kind of sheath of structure. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right foot forward, lunge. Exhale, left foot forward, fold. Inhale, stand, reaching up, abdomen lifts away from lap. Exhaling, hands to heart. All right. I think we're getting warm. Chair pose. Inhale, bend knees, reach arms up. Exhale, fold, softening through the neck. Monkey, inhale, chest lifts away from shins. Exhaling, step back. You could lightly jump back. I'm just going to step back for now. Inhale, upward dog. Here's that line. Exhaling, downward dog. And remain in downward dog. Let's give this downward dog a few moments. So you can hear the sweep of your breath, or you can feel the shape of your breath. Intentionally increase the sweep or the range or the breadth of your breath. So you may hear that as slower or longer. You may feel that as more expanded and more condensed. But there's... Good. Inhale. Let's step a right foot forward, warrior 2. And let's have this stance be rather deep. And I'll stretch those fingertips outward. We can create a little bias from bicep through the front of the heart. Bring your right elbow in front of your right shoulder. Bring your left palm to your inner elbow. Do a one-sided, unlocking the shoulder. So let's remain in that deep stance. I really like for us to be able to tap into that kind of bubbly, glowy quality. Inhaling. So we're breathing in and we're breathing with that bubbly, glowing, whatever qualities are coming up in your body. Exhale, glide that right shoulder down. Press palm and elbow together. Reach forward through that right elbow. Open through the pelvis. So it's just a very subtle gesture in that inner hip area. Inhale. Without collapsing on those hips, exhale, right shoulder down, right shoulder blade down. Elbow press palm, palm press elbow, reach elbow forward, and then soften, expand through the front inner hip. Yes, yes, yes. Now maintain that soft, that open front of pelvis as you inhale. It's so easy to collapse in this part of our body, and this part of our body needs a lot of circulation and openness. Major artery, major set of lymph nodes. A lot of waste product goes near and by this area. This is one of those areas that just needs a lot of blood, a lot of turnover, movement, right? Inhale, unwind those arms out to the side. Exhale, we'll set the hands down, stepping right foot back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Straighten arms. Means I'm using the tricep. Straightening the elbows, not locking them. Opening up the hands, spreading the upper back, fascia, skin. And here's that warrior two, other side. Inhale, left foot forward. The technology of how to breathe with the experience sets it wholly apart from an exercise. So while there are a lot of metabolic shifts and really transformations going on a cellular level, it's really important that we keep linking the breath and the experience. Because as we keep linking the breath with the experience, my sense is the experience becomes clarified. We get a more accurate view of what it is we're sensing. It's clarifying. We're not getting the wrong information, filtered information, right? Here's that unlocking the shoulder. Bring the left elbow in front of the left shoulder. Palm to inner elbow. Inhale. I'm going to just kind of keep reminding us because there can be this tendency to clutch in the hip socket. So as you're exhaling, feel the left shoulder glide down. Feel the left shoulder blade glide down. So it clears, it opens up that left side of neck, reaching the elbow forward, pressing that palm and into the elbow. Expand through the inner hip. Yes, maintain that expanded inner hip as you inhale. You might even feel as if you're inhaling right through the pelvis. That's cool. Exhale, glide the shoulder down, the blade down. Palm press elbow, elbow press palm. Send the elbow forward. Expand through the front of the hip. Feel the openness or the closedness, just sensing right in here. Let's go 2 more breaths. Good. Awesome. Inhaling, unwind arms, reaching them out to the sides. Exhale, chaturanga. We'll set the hands down, stepping left foot back. Inhale, upward dog. Expanding through the fronts of the hips. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, step or lightly jump feet forward, monkey. Exhale, fold. Condensing in the fronts of those hip creases. Here's chair, bend knees, inhale. Reach the arms up, lift abdomen away from lap. Stand, exhaling, hands to heart. All right. We may want to put some blocks in front of us as we prepare for this, like a Kapalabhati prep move. So the motion is right ankle over thigh, and then I'm reaching downward with the intent of gradually getting my hands down on the block or down on the ground. A next possible move would be bridging my arms with my shin bone. Okay, I might just talk us that far today. If you know more moves, you're welcome to go further. Okay, so I'm starting with my right ankle over my left thigh. And yes, I do bend the left knee. That helps create a shelf. And that shelf is partially how my leg stays on for the meanwhile. Flex that right foot very strongly. Zero pain in the knee. Now, however you're positioned, however deeply in there you're getting, the shin starts to go closer to the upper arm bones. And listen to the sweep of your breath, the breadth of your breath, the shape of your breath. There's a good chance we started to grunt or do the breath hold shuffle, the right? And just listening to the sweep of the breath. Again, this is deep, deep neurological work in that we're growing our capacity and growing our tolerance, our experiential tolerances. Okay. So if we're not in an interesting spot, that spectrum, that window won't get flexed and thresholds nudged and reshaped. All right. And we'll release that right side. We'll work again on the other side. Okay. So I go left ankle atop right thigh. Okay, assume a crouch-like position so that my left leg stays on my right, at least while I'm reaching my hands toward the ground. So this may be like a fold for you. This may be like a kind of a stationary reaching. It can get a little challenging to breathe in these crouched, these folded positions, but stay with that breath. It's so valuable. In some part, I wonder that much of our suffering is just not having yet discovered how expanded and how much experience we absolutely can receive. And this is just a laboratory where we can test that in very measured ways. Okay, let's release. Get both feet on the ground. We'll have a seat. And let's do Shavasana. This is a good place to rest. So please, take a rest position. And to use a kind of a metaphor, it goes along with this sweep of experience and tolerance. As many of us are very good at experiencing the knob turned all the way to the right, like the really high intensity stuff. But it's also really important to train those softer experiences where we remain alert and curious even when experiences are gentle or banal, right? Like rest. It's not that nothing is happening. It's that what can I attune to that's so subtle that I might ordinarily miss? What is going on here that is so miraculous and so exquisite? How can I give myself a chance to feel this exquisiteness of a stillness moment? And now, bend knees. Turn to a side. Use hands, press to whatever seated position you love. Namaste. Great.